You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
At 5:40, and first we have the approval of minutes from our meeting July 8th.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Executive session. We have interview for the lateral candidates for the patrol officer.
I'd like to make a move that we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're out of executive session, and we're going to go into...
Regular session.
Yes, do I have
Yes.
a motion? Second?
And no votes were taken.
No votes were taken. Okay, report of the chief.
Hold on, I'd like to make a motion first,
Okay,
okay? I'd like to make a motion that this board agrees to hire Shannon McIsaac
yeah.
as for the position of patrolman starting tomorrow, 9/10, September 10th, 2019. Can I get a second on
I
that?
second that.
All in favor?
Aye. I'd like to make a motion that this board agrees to hire Alexia Emery starting on September 23rd, 2019 for the position of patrolman.
Second.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
Good.
Now it's the report of the chief.
All right, I'll try to, we're having a long night tonight so far, so you'll see in your CompStat report, basically, all the stats are there for you. Some of the highlights I'll hit, again, the 111 Florence Road, that was where we found two deceased parties. There was some scene evidence that gave indications that there may have been some foul play. Subsequent investigation ruled that out. We're still awaiting toxicology before the final ruling from the OCME on the cause of death. Again, we don't see any violent criminal aspect to that at this point. However, the officers followed protocol and did a good job with that. On page 2 on the bottom, you'll see illegal possession of a weapon. This is a very good case by Officer Burkhart. There was a vehicle that came in the town on a few occasions that engaged in pursuit. The criteria didn't meet our policy, so he disengaged. And then on this night, he saw the vehicle again. The vehicle turned around and tried to elude him, but crashed into a telephone pole due to a wet roadway. There was a foot chase into the wooded area with the help of Canine Arrow. I think the dog kind of kept him in place, and Officer Burkhart and Sergeant Carney and Canine Arrow were present for an apprehension there. What about this case here is this is a convicted felon who was in possession of a firearm. There was a loaded gun in the car as well as narcotics. And this person was frequently in Branford on a regular basis. So a very good job by the officers there.
Can I just ask the question now, is the Canine Arrow, do you lend him out to other police departments?
Absolutely, and that is a perfect segue. Officer Carney and Canine Arrow also had gone into East Haven to assist them with the track of several suspects that bailed out of a stolen car. A very complex track, multiple suspects. 4 were taken into custody and assisted East Haven PD with that. You may have saw that in the media. Another very good job there. So yes, we do. And it's reciprocal. The other towns do lend their canines when ours is not available. Continuing on in the asset forfeiture report, you'll see that there was just two small...
One second while we're still on this. I want to thank the chief for doing such a brief,
Exactly.
hitting the highlights.
It is
things that are
a
important for
lot
us
better
to know.
than page by page by page by page.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
for the public, and truth be told, successes those that, are crime analysts. Dominique put this together, self-directed. We had talked about this, so it's something she came up with. So again, she produces a lot of valuable reports and guidance for us every day. So this is, again, I will pass that along to her personally. The forfeiture report, there was no significant expenditures. Injury report, I have nothing to report. I do have a few quick letters that we truly appreciate the public reaching out and taking the time. One is from a resident in town. We were able to send their grandchild to the Channel 3 Kids Camp. This is a camp that's run in conjunction with Channel 3 and the CPCA. It's a week-long camp. We funded one child for a week, and this person reached out and wanted to thank us for giving him the opportunity. I took a day up there and served lunch to all the children. Most of the chiefs go up there. It's a great event. It's a great camp. I would like, moving forward, to continue to do this and fund it. Maybe next year we can send more kids. We also received a letter for Detective Ferris, thanking him for his help in the procurement of antiques and precious metal permit. Said that his patience in helping them through the process was very much appreciated, and that was from Ron Antonio.
And copies of these will go in their file.
Absolutely, yep. I have a letter from Mr. Todd Howell. He worked with Sergeant Philip Ramey on an issue he had about a case. He wanted to say that what a great example Lieutenant Ramey set, and he explained it thoroughly and courteously, and he wanted to thank him. So again, thanks to Lieutenant Ramey for a very good job. Branford Honda, a letter thanking Sergeant Kineski with his recovery of a stolen vehicle and helping him liaison with the Bridgeport Police Department, helping him with that recovery. And we also did National Night Out at the request of all the residents on Evergreen Place. Officer O'Connor went down there and met with them. It's an annual event, and they organized it, and they wanted to thank us for him taking the time to come down and be with them during that event. A couple other points to hit. On the 28th, we held the swearing-in ceremony. As you know, you've been a very, very busy board. We appreciate all of you showing up that night and supporting the newly promoted. All are in their new positions and doing very well. The 24th of August, we did the ice cream with a cop. This was something that Sergeant Dion put together. A lot of officers donated their own money. We bought ice cream for any child at Ashley's on Main Street during that Saturday. Very well attended. You know, people were surprised that 4 cops, 5 cops were standing there, what's going on, and we explained it. Very, very good outreach, and well, I attended it. It was a good time. So we thank all the little ones of Branford who came out and enjoyed a nice ice cream on us. Schools are opening. Just a public service announcement. Please put the phones down in the school zones. Please be mindful of the school buses. You will see increased pedestrian traffic. The kids are out on the side of the road. Please, please watch your speeds. Leading up to school, we ramped up our radar enforcement actions in the school zones. We will continue to be out there while school's in session now. So we forewarned you. We want you to slow down in the school zones and put the phones down. It's for the children. Put the phones down. I hit Canine Arrow and Officer Burkhart. Great work there. The boat patrol, Deputy Chief Alves saw the need, and I was in agreement. We did up the hours of the boat patrol on the busy holiday weekend, and also when the weather was really nice. We did get some feedback from some of the residents that have noticed it. They were appreciative of it. We will continue to go through the budget cycle. However, when we do increase these type of things, obviously it's pulling from somewhere, and it's pulling from our overtime budget, but we will try to mitigate that and look at other areas. Moving on from that, in the training realm, again, another driver of some of our costs, we are increasing our training. We've talked about this in previous meetings, and we continue to look at some of the new and emerging threats that we are dealing with. We did our rifle and handgun certification, and we will be moving on to the active shooter. We did it previously, and that's coming up again in this budget cycle, but also the virtual simulation that you did attend and that we did vote on. We're getting on the schedule for that, and we will put the entire department through that. So as we move forward, assessing some of our training needs, you will see some of the spikes and some of the overtime, but that is the result of the training and the boat, and also the busy summer months with the vacations, but we should stabilize as we move forward. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay.
Traffic, we move on to traffic.
Oh, yeah, no. Accept the report of the chief? Okay.
Second.
Traffic.
I would make a motion that, as far as the traffic segment is concerned, the chairman of our traffic division did an amazing job of the committee reports, recite line by line what occurred, and for the record, in the open session. Can you do that narratively so that we can?
That's what I usually do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, we interject sometimes.
Oh.
We did our interjecting out there.
Item 1, request for a stop sign in both directions on Elms Road at its intersection with Bourbon Drive. The committee met, talked about it. We've got some statistics from Deputy Alves. It just does not warrant taking any action at this time. So the committee's recommendation is no action. Second item, request for no parking on the east side
South.
south side of Lanfear's Cove Road. And we talked about that. There was quite a turnout of citizens at this evening's committee meeting. And what we're going to do there is no action from a police standpoint, but I would ask the chief to see that engineering is asked to take a look at the road, see if there's any recommendations that they want to put into the budget with Public Works, et cetera. And also if engineering feels there's a need to get Public Works involved with cutting back some of the hedges for sightline improvement. But no action from our standpoint.
Could I just make a comment there? Having sat through that, obviously there are people that are reasonably motivated to see things improve there.
Right.
And the issues that they talked about were parking, speed, safety, can you get a truck down there, sight lines, cutting back hedges and mailboxes in the right place, perhaps making room for some individual parking spots for individual homeowners. All these issues are interesting, and they all might add to making life down there better. One thing that I noticed at the beginning of the discussion was they do have some kind of association there. I would suggest that that association meets to discuss this and see if those people themselves can come up with some reasonable kind of requests among themselves to see if they can't mitigate some of those situations. And that doesn't mean that if when you meet and you come up with some suggestions that we don't do those as well. But to your point, Peter, we're not going to take any action there. But that doesn't mean that there might not be some action that could be taken by the residents of that community to make that better.
Yeah, and to your point, I think one of the folks there said, some of the people would use their own private property to make some off-street parking, might make it a little easier or nicer, but that's beyond
It's
our
beyond
purview.
us. It's not our purview,
Right.
but that doesn't mean that those ideas can't be floated.
But I think to look at the road, it is a little bit narrow, it does get some traffic, but just any recommendations from the engineer I think would be good to get. So, next item is a request for a no outlet sign at the intersection of Farm River Road and Clark Avenue. What's been happening is cars will turn down Farm River Road, which dead ends at the Farm River. Turn around, it's a narrow road, turn around and sometimes go up on the lawn. So the request for no outlet sign, it's the committee's recommendation that we take action, positive action, approve that.
Right. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve a,
Don't we wait until,
Wait till he's finished with all.
no, we usually do it individually if we're gonna actually
Yeah.
take
Yeah, individual
action. That's
votes.
how we do it.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do
Is
it.
there a second?
I second it.
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item, D, is a request for a stop sign on Berger, also down in the Short Beach section, at its intersection with Clark. It's, you should, when you're coming to a T intersection, stop. There's, you know, in conversations with the chief, the deputy chief, that's the right thing to do. But you'll get people that'll be down there, they're not familiar with the area. Clark and Alps Road, I think at that point it's become Clark already. Very busy street. And so when you get people that are not familiar with the area, I think that we should, the committee felt we should have a stop sign at that intersection. So I would look for a motion for that.
I'd like to have a motion to approve a stop sign on Berger at the intersection with Clark.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we had another request for moving the existing pop-up crosswalk sign at the crosswalk on Linden Avenue, the crosswalk that's right at Linden Shores main entrance. We did move that earlier this year to the east. We put it on the east side of the crosswalk instead of the west side of the crosswalk. The Linden Shores District likes those pop-ups. They've had the desired effect of dampening traffic.
Leave one in the creek.
Committee's recommending no action at this point.
Right.
Great.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and just as an update, we had another, back in June, I think, a request for warning signs on Woodvale Road, identifying school bus and that sort of thing. It's just a short section. If we put signs every place that school bus stops, it's just, it's going to
Redundant.
take away, so no action there. And the last item that, it's not on the agenda, but it's related to traffic.
I'm sorry, Peter, can we back up because you missed E, the no parking on Rose Hill Road?
Yep.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Last item, no parking on Rose Hill Road. That was buried in the, we're going to defer that for another month, Trista. We're going to
Okay.
see if maybe having a couple of conversations will call for no action. So we're just going to put that on the October agenda. Apologize. Last thing I want to bring to the attention, I've been producing, and hopefully you got these in the handouts, on a monthly basis, when we do take an action, like the two that we took tonight, they'll go on this list. And it's very helpful because people will call in and say, gee, you know, this went before the police commission, you approved it, and I haven't seen it. And I've had that several times. I do copy Public Works on it. The lady up there gets a lot of calls along that line. It would be good if, I'm going to say, if we could get more action in a timely fashion. I don't know how to go about that. So if there's anything that, you know, the chief or deputy can do to speed this along, because some of these go back 3 years and with no activity. And we either should go back to the requester and say, we aren't going to do anything, even though it was approved, it's just not going to happen. They have a right to know. So that's my
Okay,
report.
that's your report?
I'd like to make a comment there. The traffic authority is an authority, and when we vote to do something, it should be done, okay? So I don't know what can be done to move this stuff along, but I don't think we should just be satisfied with, well, maybe nothing's gonna happen, because that's not what we're all about. We're more, you know, take more action than that.
Okay. Report of the chair. I think the only thing that hasn't been mentioned is the cell phone distracted driver, and I have never seen only 11. I mean, that's really great work. 172 tickets and only 11 were cell phone distracted drivers?
Well, the 172 is good. The 11, there's a whole host of reasons, and again, like I said, we were targeting the school zones, so we're focusing on the radar. As you know, our traffic unit is temporarily disbanded because of the staffing issue. So the 172 is a good number for me. Again, but to keep levels that you were accustomed to with 2 dedicated officers doing strictly traffic, that you're not going to see those numbers between the staffing and the other areas that we're focusing them in on, i.e. some of the traffic-prone areas that we're getting a lot of citizen complaints from, of speeding and texting and stop sign violations. We've embarked on a different strategy with using some of the data we get from our stealth traffic analyzer to push people in these neighborhoods and do as much as we can with what we have. So for a strict, dedicated, just text while driving type of focus, no, you will see us pull back from that a little bit as we attend to other things, and hopefully we can ramp back up to it.
Do you know what I've noticed for the past couple of weeks? That when, if I'm in the car and it's moving, I can't make a call, because even if Ed's driving, because it'll say, you're driving, so we're not going to put your call through.
Yep.
Right? Okay, so, any other comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Pardon? Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All in favor?
Well,
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.